Hi friends, it's Julie Golding Page, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in St. Stephen, New Brunswick, Canada, along the tidal Scoodic or St. Croix River, the traditional territory of the Passamaquoddy, and I'm grateful that they share this beautiful place with us. Today I have a unique card to share with you where we're going to actually use blending brushes to ink our embossing folder. So I hope you'll like this. It's remarkably simple, but it has a real impact. So let's get right to it. Okay, so here is the card we're going to make, and we'll get to that very shortly. We're going to be using this brand new bundle that's just come out this month. It's called Blessed Beginnings. So I really like this particular one because you can use it for Easter, baptism, wedding, or like the card that we have today, you can just use it in a general sense. And I'm just going to use the sentiment that says blessings. You can also cut out the lovely church here, which looks like a little rural church, or it could be a city church as well. It just depends on how you look at it. And this is the cutout for that. You can also add the little crosses here. You can add a wooden door in whatever color you like. You can add this to the roof line. You've got some clouds here, some greenery, bushes, trees, and the tree and the bush match up here. And here's a cross that you can stamp as well. So you can stamp a little cross right there on the church, or you can cut one out and stick it on. But we're just going to use the stamp set today. So I have created some other cards with this bundle, and I'm going to be offering a class using this bundle online in March. I will be getting those classes up probably sometime in the next few days. So in the next week for sure. You can check back on my website, which is juliescraftattic.com, or just click through on the link that you see here today. That'll take you right to my website, and it gives you all the good stuff right there. So we're going to use a blending brush here. We're going to just need one kind of ink, which is this one. It is Shy Shamrock. And this is the embossing folder we're going to use. So it's Stone and Vine 3D embossing folder. Sorry, I'm getting a little bit of a shadow from my my light here, so I'm just going to move that a little bit. Okay, so this is a really nice embossing folder, so we're going to do this part first. So I'm just going to take it out of the packaging here now. If you're looking for the number online, there it is. It's 166990. And these embossing folders, this one in particular, you need the standard size Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, so it doesn't work with the mini. So I just wanted to let you know that. It's too big for the mini. And I am going to just show you where you're going to ink. So see where it says Stampin' Up! Here on the front? So you're going to open that up, and there's that logo. You're going to ink on this part to make it work out. So let's open up our stamp pad, and I'm just going to demonstrate how to do this because I know I have some new customers who've found it a little confusing how to open up the ink pads. So there is this place to put your fingers right there. So you just pop that up like that. You flip it all the way back like this, and then push it, and it clicks into place so that it's very stable for all of your stamping afterwards. Okay, so here we go. Let's ink up our brush. This is Shy Shamrock ink. And we're just going to go ahead and put it all over our embossing folder. So let's see how this goes. When I first saw this embossing folder, I thought I have to somehow find a way to ink this and see if we can highlight some of this beautiful vine that is in it. So it's got stones and vines, like the title suggests, the Stone and Vine 3D embossing folder. And I just tried a bunch of things, and this is the one that I liked the best. I thought it worked better than everything else. So I'm really going to ink this up. While I'm doing that, I'll tell you about some of the stamping news as well. So first of all, today I'm here at 2 p.m. Atlantic. Now, my usual time is 3 p.m., but I found out that by mistake, I had put 2 p.m. for my Watch It Wednesday times in all of my print materials I recently gave out to my customers. And so I wanted to honor that by turning up at 2 p.m. today, but going forward, we will go back to 3 p.m. Atlantic, and of course, anytime on replay. So you can find all the replays on my website because they do disappear from Facebook after about a month. And I have them also on YouTube. So my YouTube address is listed right here on my Facebook page, so you can find it there, or just look for Julie's Craft Attic on YouTube. And if you go to juliescraftattic.com, you can find all of my designs and any promotions, all my replays, all those things. I wanted to also mention to you that there's a new product of the month now available, and you can get access to that product for just $5 when you place an order of at least $100. So the $100 has to be before your tax and shipping and after your rewards used. And the system itself, when you're making an online order, will actually prompt you to let you know when you're eligible to get the product of the month. So this month, it is a beautiful sentiment stamp set. And I have a picture of it on my Facebook page at Julie's Craft Attic right now. So you can see that for yourself and see what it looks like. And I'm participating in an international tutorial bundle with some other demonstrators from around the world. And when you place an order that qualifies you for the product of the month, whether you buy the product of the month or not for the $5, doesn't matter. As long as you have that $100 order with me, I will send you for free the tutorial bundle that we're all working on. So the tutorial bundle will feature different designs with the particular product of the month that is up that month. So this month we'll be using the sentiment stamp set. So it should be lots of nice flexible designs that you can use really with any stamp set later. So that's a new perk that I'm offering. And there's one more thing that's going on right now in January, and that is bonus days. So with every $60 spend, you are able to get a coupon from Stampin' Up! For $6 to use in February. So that's a really nice deal. So if your order was $60, you'd get one coupon for $6. If your order was $120, you'd get two coupons, and so on. So you can just kind of stack them up and then spend them on your orders next month. So we're almost done here. This is getting quite green at this point. So let's see if we've got enough there. Okay, let's see how that looks. Yeah, that's pretty good. That seems pretty intense there. Let's just add a little bit more to make sure. It just depends on how much color you really want. And of course, you wouldn't have to use this particular color. You'll see as I make this card that really, since we're not using any pattern paper, you could make this in any color you wanted with any embossing folder that you wanted. So it's a really flexible design. I think those are the best kind. All right. So if you're watching today, I'd love to hear where you're watching from and whether you've tried this technique before. I think it's a really fun one. So here is my piece of paper. So let me see. I will check that. It is 1, 2, 3.5 by, I think, 4 3/4. Yeah, this is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And I'm just going to place that here actually so that I don't smudge the ink on it. And then I'm going to shut the embossing folder over top of it. And now I'm just going to grab my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So like I said, you need the big one. So I got the big guy right here. Whoops, and there's dust on the top. You get a close-up view of all the dust in my craft space. So there you go. And with embossing folders, this is a 3D embossing folder. So we put plate number 1. And then we put our item and plate number 4. Let me see if I can show you. This is such a big machine, it doesn't even fit under my setup here. But here's where it says. So using with 3D embossing folders, if you can see that, maybe I'll hold it up if I can. Let's see if I can move my machine out of the way for a sec here so I can show you, because it's important to know how to do this as well. So using with standard embossing folders, and then it says using with 3D embossing folders, and that's what you want. So you put plate number 1, you sandwich your embossing folder and paper, and then on top you put a number 4 plate, and this is the number 4 plate. So I'm going to just do that right now, and then we'll run it through the machine. So here's our number 1 plate, and when we sandwich our embossing folder that's been all inked up in there, you want to put it in with the fold first. So we're going to put the fold first, or the hinge first. Then we're going to put plate number 4, and then we're going to run the whole thing through. So let's see how we do with this. Let's hope that it's going to work out for us. And as with anything that you're doing in card making, it is, as I've heard people say, only paper. So if it doesn't work out the first time, you can always try it again. There's no shame in that, and it's not that expensive that we can't try it again. All right, so I'm just going to move my machine and all these plates out of the way. We're going to take off plate number 4. And there's plate number 1, so we'll move all of that. And we're going to open our folder here and look at what we got. Isn't that cool? So now you have this white piece of paper that I started out with. It was just basic white cardstock. And look at the rich green you've got in there now. Isn't that pretty? It just highlights all of the ivy and some of the dots here on the stone, which could be maybe some kind of a lichen or just kind of moss. And it just makes a beautiful, beautiful picture. So if you want to know how to clean this, it's very simple. You just run it under water. Doesn't matter if it's cold or a little bit warm. I find it's easier on my hands if it's a little warm. And all that color will just come right off. So it's no problem. It's water-soluble ink, and it'll come off right away. So we're going to put this onto a 3 3/4 by 5 sheet of Shy Shamrock paper. So you can use whatever kind of adhesive you particularly like. I'm just going to use this multi-purpose liquid glue. That should do a good job. And you need only a tiny bit. I know lots of us in kindergarten or in the early grades in school kind of thought that we needed to use a ton of glue, but honestly, you don't need very much at all. And it sticks really well. There we go. Get that out again. There. So we've just got a little bit of glue on there. If you can see, I just kind of made it around the edge, a little bit of an outline. And now we're going to put this onto our paper. And just a tip to be able to get it on, get your paper on where you want so that it's centered and so on, just to eyeball it instead of measure. Just get right up above it, and you can see exactly where all your margins are. So I'm just standing directly above my paper. That's why I moved it down here, so I'm just directly above it, and then I can see without being at an angle that it's where I want it to go. So there's our panel. So here's our sample, so I'll bring that one back now, and we'll see how to do the rest of it. So the next part is going to be actual stamping. So you can see I stamped blessings there. So we're going to do that here. So this is just a piece that I kind of eyeballed that was going to fit across the card. So it's 1 inch tall, and then I just cut either end to fit my white panel. And we're also going to put it on top of this Shy Shamrock piece, which is 1 1/4 this way. And then just, again, I just cut it to match my panel. So you can just do that kind of on the fly. And we're going to stamp on there. So we'll open up our Shy Shamrock. And again, pop it up here, flip it open, push it in. There you go. And we're going to dig out our stamp. So we're going to use this blessing stamp, but you could really use any stamp you wanted, actually. It would do a good job. And if you're looking for the supply list, I'd encourage you to just click through on the link that's featured here in this post. It'll take you to my blog post about this project, and I've got the full supply list right there. And if you're interested in ordering with me, the supply list is all in pictures, and if you click on any of those pictures of the items, it opens right up into my online store, so you can just shop right there. All right, so there's blessings, and Let's give it a good inking here. So when you're using one of these foam ink pads, if you haven't had them before, I know Stampin' Up! Used to have fabric ones. You had to really kind of push hard. These ones, you just want to kind of tap, tap, tap. And you can see I went a little too hard there and I got some green right on my block, but that won't matter. As long as it doesn't transfer to your paper, you're in business, no problem. And this block I'm using is just from a kit. So it's the ones that come for free in the kits, and that's really what I use for almost all my stamping, unless it's a really big stamp. If it's a long stamp, this one's fairly long, but it will fit, but you can always put it diagonally, and that will do for most of the stamps, I would think, that you'd want to use. And this is my chamois. You can see I've used it lots. We're going to clean this up. It's just a foamy material that you get from Stampin' Up! It's called the Simply Chamois. And you just run it under water. Again, I use warm so it's easier on my hands, till it's pliable like this, kind of like a cloth. It comes quite hard. So once it's all pliable and soft, it's got water in it, and then you can just use it as a cloth like I'm using it. You can clean your fingers with it, or you can just squish your stamps into it to get all of the ink out of it. So I like it because there's no chemicals required. You can just use your water from the tap, and it's very, very simple. All right, so that is all for our stamping. Now we've got our panel, we've got our stamped bit, and now we're going to take our stamped piece and we're going to glue it onto our Shy Shamrock background. So make sure I don't have any water there. I got some moisture from that chamois on the table here, so I'm just being careful about that. And this is a glass mat I'm using. That's available from Stampin' Up! As well. I really like it because it has a built-in grid, and the built-in grid is really helpful, I find, when I'm doing cards. And the other thing is, it's very easy to clean. So whether you get glue on it or you get ink or whatever, it just comes right off. Also with photopolymer stamps, it's always advisable to have a piece of cardboard underneath them because they don't have a built-in cushion in them. And things stamp better when you have a cushion underneath the clear stamps. But with this mat, it acts as your cushion, so it works really well that way too. So there we go. I just glued that on. So now we can put the rest of it together. So this is basic white thick cardstock. I like to use that when I'm making cards rather than just the basic white. I find the thick gives it a little bit more body and stability, especially if you're adding several layers to it. So here we go. And if you don't have a demonstrator already, I would be very happy to help you. If you're anywhere in Canada, I can certainly help you out. Just click through to my website. You can join my newsletter. I send those out as there is new news. Some weeks it's only once, some weeks it's several of them. It just depends on how much news there might be. And my newsletter list, those people get the best news, the most thorough news, and they get it really the soonest. So I'd encourage you to join my newsletter list. And if you need any help with any of your stamping supplies from Stampin' Up! Or techniques or whatever, please do let me know. I'd be very happy to help you. Oh, I should tell you what these are too, shouldn't I? These are called Stampin' Dimensionals. And they are one of the big reasons that I've stuck with Stampin' Up! Over the years. These little foam adhesives are so good. They stick so well. And I've seen too many times projects fall apart where people have used like dollar store adhesives or just ones that don't work very well. And Stampin' Up's adhesives are always top-notch, and I really, really appreciate that. In fact, if they have anything on their list of products that they don't think is up to their quality standards, they take it off the market, and I really respect that. Our final touch here, so I'm just going to hold that up so you can see what we've got. Our final touch is going to be to decorate with these embellishments, and these ones are called the Druzy adhesive-backed embellishments. They've been out for quite a while, and they're super useful because they're gold and silver. So they're very, very nice. You can use them for so many projects any time of the year. And I'm just going to keep it simple here and just put a couple on. So that, my friends, is the end of our project. Isn't that cute? And it's just such a nice technique with the 3D embossing folder. And once again, it is called the Stone and Vine 3D embossing folder. So I'd love to hear if you've ever tried this technique and what you think of it. I think it's kind of cool. It would work with all kinds of different 3D embossing folders, but this is just one example. So thank you very much for watching today. I really appreciate your support here online, and I hope you have a wonderfully crafty week. See you next time. Bye for now.